How can a circus show become more than just a circus show? Fit into today's time and become more of an experience than just a show. This is a hot topic discussed by a lot of circuses right now, including by the big ones that you all know. And today I had the chance to see a show that I think is on the right track. Les Folies Gruss, the new show of a traditional French circus family that specializes in horses. They're not even calling their show a circus show, they're calling it an experience, which is led in 3 parts. First part is arrival. Once you enter, you have the chance to see horses, pet horses, and you get into the concession stand. In this tent, you can find street foods and sweets as you would expect from a circus, but then they also have a full-blown restaurant. I want to mention that I was not paid to make this video. In today's time, sometimes you have to mention that. I was invited here by Folies Gruss, son of Alexis and Gypsy Gruss, the founders of the circus, and who is the general manager. I was actually very impressed and so stunned by this experience because I had the feeling that the Folies Gruss were doing so many things right. The restaurant was serving all types of food. You can buy oysters, but you could also just have a burger, fish and chips, dessert, coffee, drinks. Prices were pretty standard restaurant prices, and we had live music for the meal and a little pre-show right after. This is a family circus, so the only people performing here are family members plus musicians. This little animation part was a great appetizer to the show. Highlight was the 8-year-old Venetia that got the kids more entertained than the jumping castle they had just behind them. They had a jumping castle. A perfect place to have the kids entertained while the adults can have a meal. A lot of people were celebrating their birthday, and as I said, all of this was just the first part out of 3 parts. Back into concessions for a little moment before the show starts, which also actually has an aerial point in the middle, so if ever you wanted to have a performance after a show for a private event or a party, this is always an option. The tent was very cute. It fits 3,000 people. It wasn't completely full, but it felt very full, and they asked to not film the show, so I was respectful of that. It's a show based on their family story. It was quite cute, had an actual storyline, included actors, live music, and a lot of horses. And what I think was great was the timing. It was a tight show. There was nothing too long. Sometimes with animals, numbers can get long, and I've noticed that especially at festivals. So this one was tight, fast, intimate, and really not what I had expected. Also, the juggling act on horse had just won a Golden Clown and Monte Carlo festival, so we're talking high level here. The show received a standing ovation, and after the show, there was a third part of the experience, which was meeting all of the artists. The tent stayed open for foods and drinks, and sometimes after especially an event or an evening show, they even have a full-on party. This didn't happen today. It's the afternoon, but I had something way better, and this is not part of the experience if you're buying a ticket, but I got invited to see the backstage, and where you would usually see another tent where artists can warm up, you had a huge tent here with all of their horses. Horses count as domestic animals, so they're not part of exotic animals that will be abolished in circus probably soon, and getting to see how they work with their horses from up close, from behind the scenes, was truly a unique experience. Thank you so much, Firma, for having me. After spending the whole afternoon there, it was time to go back, and did you know that they're actually having a shuttle service to take people to the metro? I mean, come on. I'm convinced that there's a couple of things here that they're doing 100% right. And I made it straight back to the Moulin Rouge in Paris for my 2 shows tonight.